Hey, good evening. Good evening. Tonight, Pat Talk, episode 60. Uh, Usually when we do Pat Talk, we usually go right into the madness that's going on across everywhere. You can find some madness, something to laugh at, something that really just that's going to tickle you. But tonight we got two things on the plate, and one thing we're going to discuss is the issue with the young brother Wilson. Caleb Wilson, who played in a band down at Southern, and he was pledging online to be a mega sci-fi Q dog. Interesting. And part of his hazing, um, he died in the process. Um, so this is a issue that it's been going on for a long time with hazing and how it gets out of hand and people dying. Some states ban hazing. Some states have actually shut down fraternities and sororities because of hazing. Some universities don't even allow it on their campus because they tend to go the wrong way. This particular fraternity, I know some things about. I have a friend of mine. I'll say he's a friend, an older brother that we've been real tight since I was a kid. And he's a Q dog, and he's very disturbed about the incident. He actually did a show on it on one of his channels that he has. But tonight we're gonna discuss it. The brothers are here, Chef C, Brother Negro. Hopefully Lone Wolf is gonna join us, as well as Dr. Short is gonna join us. What's up, fellas?
Hey, good afternoon, brother Q, or good evening.
It's evening, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I like the whole tuxedo look. This is a distinguished affair. A
Yes,
distinguished affair.
yes. Pat talk. Pat talk. That's how we coming. That's how we coming. What's going on, Chef C? He's there. He's there. I just don't hear
Peace, Q. I keep getting dropped. I don't know what's happening with my
him.
with my thing over here. Peace.
Yeah, they ain't treating you white tonight. They treating you bad. They treating you like a foreigner or something. Like they trying to deport you up out of here. So brother Roland, brother Negro, excuse me. When did you hear about this incident?
I heard about it from online from the most unusual sources too. One of them, I think it was a pastor who might have went to HBCU who had some interesting perspectives. Then I heard it from the Chicago people, the Chicago Turret Red type of camp, who had very interesting perspectives about them as well. And those are the people that I heard it from. And then when I started looking into the story more, I was really disappointed um, that they did that to that young man. Young
I'm
man,
gonna,
we need to be keeping an eye on our children
I'm
and
gonna
these
read the
institutions.
article. I'm gonna read
Yeah.
the article. Man charged with manslaughter after Louisiana student hazing death. This is the brother Caleb Wilson right here. A man who has been charged in connection with the death of Louisiana college students who collapsed after being repeatedly punched in the chest during a hazing ritual, police said. Officials said Caleb McCrae, 23, a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, allegedly punched Caleb Wilson, wow, two Calebs, multiple times during the off campus initiation ceremony. He was charged with criminal hazing and manslaughter. Mr. Wilson was a 20-year-old college band member, mechanical engineering student at Southern University A&M, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Hold on, you guys. What am I looking at? I'm bugging. Oh, the suspect's lawyer said in a statement his client deserved due process and asked the public to withhold rushing to judgment until all evidence is heard. Typical lawyers speak. Hazing, which is illegal in most U.S. states, is a tradition where people pledge their loyalty by doing something painful, humiliating, and dangerous. Speaking at a news conference, Baton Rouge Police Chief Thomas Morris Jr. stated that Mr. Wilson's death on on February 27th was a direct result of the hazing incident. According to police, a group of individuals dropped Mr. Wilson off at a hospital and allegedly lied to the staff, saying he had collapsed while playing basketball. They left before the authorities arrived. Wow. But detectives later determined that information to be inaccurate. A police arrest report reviewed by U.S. media outlets states that Mr. Wilson and 8 others pledging the Omega Psi Phi fraternity were struck by Mr. McRae and at least 2 others wearing boxing gloves. Mr. McRae allegedly hit Mr. Wilson 4 times in the chest, after which he collapsed, suffered a seizure, and lost control of his bodily functions. The arrest warrant affidavit said no one present attempted to call emergency assistance, police said. Mr. Wilson was later pronounced dead at the hospital. An autopsy found no significant trauma to his body, aside from a small bruise on the right side of his chest, according to the affidavit. It also noted that investigators found no indication that Mr. McRae intended to cause a death or great bodily harm to any of the pledges. Mr. McRae, a member of Omega Psi Phi, reportedly a Louisiana Army National Guard member, is said to have graduated from Southern U, December 2024, according to ABC News. East Baton Rouge District Attorney Hillary Moore said 2 additional people who have not been publicly identified will be charged with misdemeanor hazing. The investigation is ongoing and remains active. Southern University Systems President Dennis Shields expressed deep sorrow over Mr. Wilson's death. Words cannot express how deeply saddened we are by the loss of our student Caleb Wilson. Mr. Shields said the campus chapter of Omega Psi Phi has been ordered to suspend all activities. Students involved in the incident could face expulsion. Additionally, all Greek organizations at the university, a historically black college, have been barred from accepting new members for the remainder of the academic year. I can stop reading that. Wow. So that's how they coming. They're going to penalize. They're going to say no, not accepting new members as a way of coming down on them. Wow. Don't accept new members, but they still don't allow the fraternity to go on. Gentlemen, any thoughts? Brother Negro?
Well, I say for me, Q. I say for me, man, this tradition has been
Oh, Brother Negro.
Man, they just
yeah.
zapping my homie.
I don't know what's going on.
My takes of it, and I'll just give a quick excerpt. This is an extension of Jim Crow. This is an extension of Willie Lynch. And I look at these are some of the you see the institutions that are backing the play on these type of frats and sororities in the guise of that they're not holding them accountable and holding them to task per se.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way we're going to punish you is taking your membership away is not enough, which shows that there's something there that these institutions want to have these type of problems and these type of memberships and organizations at their institution, right? Certain schools don't support the frats and sororities at all. It doesn't matter if they're black or white, depending on what college institution you go to. And then you see some of the people go to these colleges sometimes specifically to join those frats and sororities. So it's a couple of ways that you can like really look at this. And in some regards, it could harm the retention of the school. So of course they want them there. But it's not every campus. WPIs don't want to have per se, depending on which ones. The elite ones, yes. But your WPIs that are like your state schools, the answer is sometimes no, depending on the state school. I know that the ECSU Eastern that I went through and got my bachelor's from, they just started introducing them. I would say 2010 out in Connecticut. They were it got to the point where black people in that area, Willimantic and stuff, we weren't allowed to have our own frats and sororities because they thought that we were up to something. And so these are some of the things that I observed. When I went to more of like the elite schools, that means the private institutions,
Mm-hmm.
they had these type of institutions there. It was almost like they come hand in hand with your degree in some regards, if you get what I'm alluding to.
Yeah, brother Negro, it's just funny, when I was I always tell people I went to college, but I wasn't a student. I did go to school. I did go to a school and the paralegal stuff and all that stuff, but I when you know when I graduated high school and all that stuff, and we all got out of high school, we all went to the parties, and the Qs had the parties. Um, so I knew it was hazing going on, and all that stuff, and it was hazing going on even in high school when you played sports and all that stuff. Yeah, chef. See, I don't know why they keep booting you out, man. It's crazy. But I know I just went back on my Ethernet cord because I kept going on my Wi-Fi. But anyway, yeah, I knew that the Qs was known, to throw the best parties and all this and all that. And I had one brother Negro, and the way the party scene in the colleges back then in Jersey was, it was like it was like a party on Friday at this college, then another party Saturday at this college. So you were basically, if you was in from North Jersey, it was like 9 to 10 colleges that all partied together. And you knew, even with the as they call it, the Greek Fest, when everybody used to go down to Fairmount Park in Philly, and then they back in the day they used to go to Belmar, the Freaknik, all that crazy stuff. You knew what was going on. You knew it was this type of stuff, and even the people that I know that's in the queues, some of them even tell me now today that they're embarrassed for the stuff that they did when they was pledging. And I'm like, if you was embarrassed on the stuff you was pledging, why would you do it? I know you in your 50s, you in your 40s, and you looking back at your 21, 22-year-old self, and you want to be a part of brotherhood, I guess. This young man went to try to be part of a brotherhood, and he got killed, man. That the boy dirty, man. Do you realize how hard you have to punch somebody with gloves on to hurt them? I mean, you hit somebody directly in the sternum, you could kill them.
But look who was throwing the punches, brother. That was an army or a trained professional killer, right?
Hmm.
When you in the military, and it's not me to cast aspersion on the people who serve the armed service. Shout out to you. They're supposedly told with their training, it's not supposed to be used on American civilians, right? And to
Hmm.
see him engage in these type of decorum to uphold the standard of the Boule institution or the Omegas or whoever the heck they are, right? It shows the fact that these guys have all types of individuals casting characters in their roster, and that you could, like, people who are in opposition to them could end up missing very easy.
Mm.
Um, and I'm just seeing that this was done on the HBCU campus. Where's the black on black on violence people at? Where's those white folks saying, what about black on black crime? They need to come to the front of the line with the dunks cap on. They need to come to the front of the line for this. Because the reason why I'm going hard on this, because I didn't hear not one White Lives Matter person talking this smack. The All Lives Matter crew ain't talking the smack. It's always specifically targeted to the inner city. They never talk about the violence that go on in these college institutions. One directly amongst ourselves, or even to the ones that are white supremacists that are on the campuses, which there was a couple examples even in Connecticut. So
I want to know.
oh yeah, yeah, Chef. Yeah, you're right. Where are they? Yes, that's what I'm
Where's the
saying.
Divine Nine? The Ski Wee? Yeah. Where they at? Where are they at? Like, I have a statement. Omega Psi Phi, the Q Dogs. They made a statement. I'm gonna read the statement, but like, you should see this all over the internet. You should see this on all these social media sites, because at the end of the day, this man want the Southern, and y'all know to be on that Southern band, he must be really good. 'Cause Southern band ain't no joke. He want the Southern, and he want and pledged to be part of a brotherhood. And it's like, how could you sell your fraternity or sorority on brother and sisterhood, and at the end of the day, you beating them on the ass with a paddle? How unmanly is that, where you smacking somebody on the ass? Or you could have been doing all types of other type of sexual stuff to them.
But brother Q, it's even more than this. Is the same group that had those officers murder that young boy.
And this is
And
why
the
it's
young man, not the young
Tyre
boy. I'm
Nichols.
sorry to Kaz, the young man. I'm sorry about that. The one that was in Tennessee. Those were 3 Omegas.
Mhm.
My thing is, where's the RICO cases on them? Where's the RICO cases on them? That's where I'm kind of going at here, because this is another high profile killing, a murder of a black young youth or young adult who has a lot to offer to this world, and it was snuffed out because he was looking for acceptance in the wrong areas, the wrong places, you know. And it's
They
sad that
they didn't even have
Mhm.
the courtesy enough. Pardon me, brother. They didn't even have the courtesy enough to make sure. They just dropped him at the hospital. Like, here.
Just like those gangbangers, just
Yeah,
like those.
just like
I'm
on the
throwing
movies
jackets, man. I'm
where they
throwing
drop you
jackets
off, right?
today.
Go ahead, go ahead. Mhm.
You know what I'm talking about. You had your compadres like for people that got into trouble back in the day. I wasn't that. I'm not a square, but I would say I'm square adjacent. I know what I'm
Men
saying.
died in North Africa fighting the Germans. Black men died at Anzio Beach, at Palermo, at Naples, to free Rome, to free Paris, to free Europe. Damn it! We died to build America. And America has rebuilt Germany and Japan, and the nigger is still suffering and dying in the streets of America.
Just like that. Just like that. Man, Farrakhan going hard this afternoon. Mm-mm-mm. And that's what I'm observing, brother Q. Why are we not viewing them as a gang? Why are we not viewing them as the progenitors or some of the contribution to black on black violence and crime in our community? It was guys like shout out. I'm not gonna put him too far in the front street. Shout out to brother Mark Carter. He even said that some of these D9s were working with gangbangers, destabilizing the black American community, the Negro community. So
They don't do nothing
these things,
but gatekeep, and then they all say that they're the talented 10th. That's what they try to claim. Oh, we're going to be the talented 10th. And the reality of it is they condone a bunch of fuckery in our communities, and they should be deemed a gang. They should.
I want them to lose their nonprofit. The Omega should lose their nonprofit status, their tax exempt status, nationwide.
So this is the statement from the leadership. It is with profound sorrow that we extend our condolences on the passing of Caleb Wilson. His loss is deeply felt, and our hearts go out to his family, friends, and all who were touched by him. Caleb was more than a beloved son, grandson, brother, nephew, and cousin. He was a scholar, an exceptional member of Southern University marching band, and passionate, dedicated leader in student life. We have been informed that the local authorities have launched an investigation into this tragic incident, and we fully support their efforts to seek the truth. Currently, our foremost priority is standing in unwavering support of Kayla's family. We have extended ourselves to them, and we are ready to assist in any way possible during this difficult time. We recognize that many of you may have questions, and we have actively working to gather accurate information. In the meantime, we ask for your patience, your prayers, and solidarity as we honor Kayla's memory and support those grieving his loss. This is by Ricky Lewis, Grand Basilius, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. I don't want to hear that crap. Yeah, Chef C. It's lip service. It's lip service. Nobody wants to hear what he's talking about. At the end of the day, they should get sued. They're liable. They should lose their charter, and they should all be held accountable. The leadership should be held accountable. The leadership should be charged with the death as well. They're complicit.
That's why I said, brother, the RICO charges. Where are the RICO charges? Where is the conspiracy? The conspiracy to commit murder or manslaughter due to the fact of hazing. Those are the perspectives that I would like to see. They do this to rappers all the time. This should be a walk in the park, right? These are school guys. You should crack them like eggs.
Wow. I don't even know what to say. I thought about when we were supposed to do the show the other day. We discussed this. It's just amazing. Not amazing that this happened. It's amazing that this continues to happen. They actually have a law in reference to hazing. Hold up. It's called the Max law, Max Groover's law. Now this one particular one. This is in California. It increases the penalties for hazing that results in serious injury or death. This law is named after Matt Carrington, a student of California State University, who died in 2005. So, like we said, a bunch of states, this stuff is illegal. I'm surprised it's not illegal down there in Louisiana. Yeah. Okay, brother Juan. The wolf is in the building.
The wolf is in the house.
Well, I'm quite sure you're up to speed, brother Juan J. Johnson. I don't even know what to ask you, brother. You are always our go-to when it comes to law enforcement and having a job or having a responsibility where you have to have extreme discipline because you're trained to not inflict pain. You're trained to kill.
That's right.
You don't know anything. You were trained to shoot center mass, so you weren't trained to shoot nobody in the leg. So when we have these type of incidents, it's always great that you are part of what we do with Pat Talk. What do you have to say, Brother Juan J. Johnson?
Every member of that Omega Psi fraternity who was on the scene should be locked up for murder. Now, I know the charge read manslaughter, but they dropped that boy off at the hospital and left because they knew they were wrong. Not just that, they changed his clothes. So we don't even know what his original clothes was. As far as we know, he could have been defecating himself. Could have been some blood.
Yeah, they said he got hit so hard that he lost his bodily fluids.
But they changed his clothes. and then took him to the hospital. That's all premeditated. Everybody involved should be locked up, not just the one that hit him. Because again, I don't even believe their stories. Someone using gloves. I don't believe that. You got to look, when you done kill somebody, you got to be on the same page. All the stories have to be believable and they all have to speak the same thing. And right now, every last one of them on the scene should be locked up. Not just the one who did the hitting, the ones also who bought the body and did not even call the police. They didn't even make a report the same day. The charter needs to be pulled. The whole, the national foundation, the national board should be stripped of their charter. And they should be sued. Because again, if you're saying you have renegade frats out there under your banner, that's on you. That's on you. If you have renegade members who are hazing, oh, that's on you. That's on the national board. That means you don't have control of your organization. It means, you know what? You need to be done away with. And look, let me be very clear. I've got a lot of Qs I know. One of my best homies is a Q. But look, it doesn't change the fact that the Qs need to be responsible. Watch this. I think that all of the Divine Nines should be having this discussion.
The Divine Nine walks around America and particularly towards other Black people. And we all got friends, family members that may be part of the Divine Nine. But they all walk around towards other Black Americans with their chests puffed out because they're part of an organization and they look down on the person that's not affiliated with them. Now, individually, they may treat us, oh yeah, that's my peoples. We thick as thieves or whatever. However, they're a secret society, not a secret, but it's their society. They're a group, they're an organization, and literally, like Brother Juan said, they should be held accountable. They should have their charter pulled. The minimum, the charter should be pulled. And I'm amazed that the university literally said they can't accept no more people for the rest of the year. What is that? What is that? I hope that, and from what I understand, this boy's father is in law enforcement. I hope they sue everybody. I know it's not going to bring the young man back, but everybody's culpable and responsibility for this. Brother Juan, I want to ask you a question. Because one of the things that you picked up on when you spoke about it, and this is key, and this hope everybody in the chat understands. We're going to talk about something interesting in this case that Brother Juan picked up on already. And it is this young man was charged with manslaughter. Let me explain something to you guys about when you get charged. Usually when you get charged, the charging indictment, what most prosecutors will do when they charge you, well, they'll charge you with everything. Because in their eyes, something's going to stick. This guy was not charged with everything. This guy was charged with manslaughter. Where he could possibly, if he's found guilty, possibly get less than 10 years. So this is the games that a lot of times, and we see it when a lot of us commit crimes like this against them people. They charge you with homicide, murder. Man one, you're facing the death penalty. This was a haze. This in other states, I know in New Jersey, this would be technically a felony murder because he committed murder in the commission of a crime. But brother Juan,
Mm-hmm.
talk to me. What made you pick up on the manslaughter?
Because I'm always looking at the charging documents.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, in police world, we put as many charges as we can because we don't know what's going to stick. So you load the charges. Because guess what? He may get off on manslaughter. But here it is. I know that it's two elements to a crime. Right? You got specific, which is you made up your mind to do something and you did it. Then you got general. It just happened. This could be considered a general, right? I don't think nobody was anticipating that this young brother would get killed, but you have to leave that up to the courts to decide. We charge everything. And because they took the body to the hospital, right, and left, see, for me, now you get more than manslaughter. Because now you're hiding. You're not even being upfront with the death. Nah. And you changed his clothes before you took him? Yeah. No, we don't. No, we throw first degree, we throw second degree, third degree, manslaughter 1, manslaughter 2, 3, whatever. But again, I'm anxious to find out, the officers involved, who's a Q, who's a Kappa, okay? Who's the attorneys, who's the magistrate, who's the commissioner. All these parties involved in this cover up, I would say. It's a cover up. Yeah, it's a cover up. That charter should be pulled immediately. And that organization should be disbanded. And the guys who accuse that I know, shame yourselves. Because you ain't said nothing.
But brother Juan, this is
Go
hey,
ahead.
brother Juan. This is the second high-profile murder of a black man. At first, it was the 3 out of the 5 cops that murdered in Tennessee that murdered that black young man over some entanglement. Then you got this incident now where this young black man was viciously beaten and harmed. And why are we not looking at this as a murdering factory or as a black on black criminal enterprise that's targeting our best and our alleged best and our brightest people? Alleged. And I'm using that very strongly because I know that there's a lot more real people outside those organizations than in them.
I think that the divine line are so embedded into the fabric of this country at all levels of government, the juries, policing, it's not as easy. It's just dissolving them. It's just, but again, because it's so many of them out there. They're in every institution, you name it, education, entertainment, law, politics, you name it, they're everywhere. Okay.
Yeah, you got people that have pledged that they're not even really active, but they still will say, "I'm part of Divine Nine." Like Brother Juan said that they're uh, hopefully Dr. Short will be joining us shortly. I know he wanted to definitely speak on it because he has some history with dealing with them when he was at Howard and so forth and so on. They're so embedded in Black American culture, like Brother Juan said, that they're everywhere. And it is perhaps that it definitely down there that you may have some Q dogs that is on that prosecution team.
Mm-hmm.
Police, his father might be, if he was pledging to be a Q and his father's in law enforcement, 9 times out of 10, his father's a Q.
Mm-hmm. That part.
So yeah, so this is interesting. I thought even the statement from the guy coming out so early speaking on it was interesting because he basically admitted culpability by even making a statement. Sometimes it's better to just shut the hell up.
Hey Q, you said something that was very interesting. That I'm actually looking at it from a court perspective. How are they going to actually hold this up in court? Because majority of our Black professionals are D9, a good majority of them. And the thing is, it doesn't matter if they're not an Omega. The thing is, they are still connected with them by being a divine mind, divine nine, or Black Greek member. So if I was a prosecution, I would want anybody that's connected. I don't care or connected. I would want them removed. Like because of they could impact the court case. They could offset some things and stop justice.
Just know this, right,
That's deep, man, that
brother
you bring
Negro.
that up.
What's crazy, right? When we speak about these people in this organization, I can guarantee that if all 3 of us was part of this organization, we would not be doing this broadcast.
Oh no, we be
They
silent.
they would not be doing a broadcast talking about it.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
if his father or anybody else is in his family is accused, they're still going to consider this guy who killed this young man their brother. It's an oath. They've pledged an oath to that fraternity. And regardless of us talking about it, if it picks up national steam, like you said, it'll probably pick up national steam if those clear people was to jump on the case. But like I said, those social media sites on IG, X, Facebook, they're not going to talk about this because somebody in that staff, the editorial staff, somebody is Divine Nine.
Well, watch this. We remember.
Where's Roland Martin?
Remember
Has
when
he talked about it? He's a Q.
you remember when Steve Harvey
No,
said,
he's Alpha by Alpha, but yeah, he should be talking.
you remember when Steve Harvey said that the Qs run the airwaves? Remember that?
Yeah, him and Ricky Smiley.
That the Qs
Yes, sir.
run the airwaves. I don't hear Ricky Smiley talking about this. I don't hear Steve Harvey talking about this. I don't hear D.L. Hughley talking about this because the Qs run the damn airway. Okay? And that's why they need to be disbanded immediately.
Let alone all the grapes that they did when they was in college. We're gonna talk about that. All the assaults that they occurred on all these women, and perhaps some men. Because if you got to get beat with a paddle on your ass, something wrong with you.
You know what? I think when they go through these ritual hazings, it's about a trauma bond. They bond you with the trauma. They got to leave a marker or put you inside of a painful situation so you always remember it.
Yeah,
You're bonded by it's almost you bind it by that trauma bond, by that painful situation. Because
yeah, Shaq's a Q. He ain't talking about it.
Yeah, because when you talk, he said Shaquille, not even, yeah, because they don't. I mean, everyone I know that's played some type of way, they've had some type of violent or some type of physical or some type of altercation that sealed the deal. Okay. And some of them sometimes never recover from that. Okay. But
So he went to college. He went to college for brotherhood and got killed.
But you're not going to see that college get rid of these frats. These frats bring in money, bro. I'm going to speak about it from a graduate perspective because I'm getting that master's. I'm getting that, but I'm going to talk about it from a perspective of things that I've saw from the parties, from the projects that they do, the notoriety. It's hard for a prestigious private school institution. See, state school and private schools are a little bit different. Is based off private is strictly about that money. While the private institute or the private institutes like that, the state school, it's a state school. You get what I'm saying? It's funded by the state. So it's you could see the differences. You could see what's going on here, and they use that as a way to gen up revenue for these institutions. They're buying the frat clothing. They're going to the parties. All that has a revenue that's going back to that college campus one way or another. That's why some of these children or some of these young adults go to these institutions because they want to be a part of that particular experience, right? So they're going there for that experience. Should not really cost their lives, but is at the expense where the institution is capitalizing off the images, the likeness, just everything about the child, about these young people, their young minds, impressionable minds. So yeah, this is very hurtful to me because I'm in these classrooms. I see how these frats and sorority people be moving, and they when we gonna just charge it to the game and just say that they're anti-black, that they're colorist, that they're the epitome of Willie Lynch and Jim Crow, and they're the progenitors of that still to this day. When we're going to look at them as an extension of white supremacy? Like, these are the things that I think that we really need to tap into. Wait. Chef is saying some real stuff. Brother Q, you might want to read Brother Chef.
Chef C said they work in tandem with the banks that come on campus, opening bank accounts and loans in loans for incoming students, basically destroying your credit before your credit even get established. Destroying your life, taking your manhood or your sisterhood away from you. You're innocent. You're green. You're green. When you step on a college campus, definitely if you go into a campus out of state, you're green. You're green. Y'all know what being green is. We all been there before. And you can smell it from a mile away. And they latch on to you like they're a piranha. And as they say, blood in the water. And what happened to this young man is it's really and we're worried. We are worried about Trump taking money or that administration taking money from HBCUs. And if we had a channel that just talked about all the crime and all the degeneracy that goes on in these HBCUs, that channel would probably go viral.
Facts.
But brother, they're at the WPIs too. These black frats, and I'm gonna give you an example. When I was at what's that school, Johnson and Wales? Shout out to them. Half of their frats were gay. I'm just gonna throw it out there. So I was just going to walk across the green. They had a party.
Any man that lets another man smack him on the ass is something. He has an alternative lifestyle. I'll just use that word.
Fact.
Be politically correct tonight.
Okay, yeah, my bad. We'll be politically correct. But the point that I wanted to highlight is that they were doing the most raunchiest dances, the most it made black folks look bad, bro. I'm just gonna keep it 1,000. It made me feel bad as a black person that they were acting in a provocative manner. And they're doing this in front of a whole white audience, right? So, like, I'm never a fan of these guys because of what they do. I look at them as an extension of white power and white supremacy. And honestly, if there is a thing called black supremacy, that would be it, because they're oppressing us. I'm just going to keep it 1,000. When they're blocking other black people out of scholarships, it's these guys. When they're blocking some of the best and brightest minds on our campus, it's these guys. When they block you out of a job, it's these guys. It's to the point that they are perpetuating the intellectual genocide of our people.
Say that again,
And
brother. Say that
I
again.
said that they're the progenitors, or they perpetuate the intellectual genocide of our people when they block out a potential doctor, when they downgrade a black student that has the potential to do something that's positive for our people and the upliftment of our people. That's why I go so hard on the Boule and stuff like that, because I'm around in their classes. I see how they move. These are the people that are directly against me when I'm writing stuff in the interest of black folks. They're the type in an online classroom to try to undermine you, Tether or Black American. So the battle's in the mind. And if you have people that's out there trying to intellectualize our genocide and not putting it into the right framework, they are part of the problem.
Black men died in North Africa fighting the Germans. Black men died at Anzio Beach, at Palermo, at Naples, to free Rome, to free Paris, to free Europe. Damn it! We died to build America. And America has rebuilt Germany and Japan, and the nigger is still suffering.
I'll say this. This whole, I'm very disturbed with this, because again, I want to hear from the Qs. When are the Qs going to cross the line and say, you know what, enough of this? When are the Qs, the Catholics? Because I'm going to say Qs right now, because the most popular ones recently was.
Matter of fact.
Go ahead.
Everyone in the chat, let's answer Brother Juan's call. Tomorrow, everybody just go on their social media and say, where are the Qs?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody post that on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok. Where are the Qs?
Yeah.
Post that on your social media tomorrow. Where are the Qs? But we boycotting fucking Target for something that don't even got nothing to do with us. Where only 5% of black women or black men are affected by some damn DEI. And if you ask anybody black, were you hired with DEI? They're gonna look at you like you crazy, because ain't no black person in America gonna get nothing handed to them. Everything is earned. We're raised, you got to work twice as hard. Where are the Qs?
Yeah.
What are the ones?
Yeah, where the Qs at? Because again, when you start asking the question, then it's going to bring attention to where the Kappas, where the Alphas, okay, where the AKAs. Why do you go silent right now when you should be the loudest talkers? They should be getting ahead of the story, saying, you know what, this is wrong. And I saw that the letter was read, was written from, I guess, the president or somebody's in charge. But Yeah. The international headquarters. Okay. Ricky Lewis, Grand Basalis, Omega Phi. Okay. Well, that's a start. But Ricky, we need to have a conversation. Mr. Lewis, we need to have a conversation. Why don't the Qs and the Kappas come together and the Alphas and all the lines sit down and have a group conversation before the whole world about the hazing and the killings that's been going on for decades? What about the judges? Huh? The attorneys. Got a lot of attorneys as Qs and Kappas. The politicians. Huh? Most of these politicians we see on television belong to one of these Divine Nine organizations.
Shout out to Benjamin Crump.
Yeah. Why are you so silent? Huh? Everything must come under the microscope of truth. Say this again. Everything, everybody comes under the microscope of truth. And the Divine Nine, the Masons, the Boulets, you're not exempt from coming under the microscope of truth.
But if
somebody got something to happen.
If somebody lie and say they in a Divine Nine or wear their colors, they're the first ones to try to ostracize them and or harm them and say they're fake. They're lying.
Yeah. It's crazy because again,
if you even wear a jacket, you could be a Q and lend your jacket to your little cousin because he cold, and other Qs will question your little cousin and make him take the jacket off because he's not a Q. You can't wear our paraphernalia.
But again, what gets me is they know how to get on one accord for these type of situations. They take the shut the hell up pill. All of them, because if you talk about one, then the other one gonna talk about them, because they all know each other's dirt. Okay. Q should tell you they don't care for Kappas like that. You know, Alpha will tell you they don't care for the noobs. You know, but when this death is taking place, they get quiet because they all silently guilty, and that goes for the females too, the sorors. Because you would think that your motherly instinct would kick in, but it's the fraternity over everything and anything. And this is why they're getting so much pressure, because they've already chosen the fraternity over everything. This should be a national story. And he got killed in February 27th. This is what, March the 9th? He got killed on February 27th, people. And this is March the 9th. It's only 28 days in February. So this story is what, 10 days old? 10 days old. Matter of fact, when did the Omega post that letter? What was it dated? How long did it take them to respond?
February 28th.
28th. Well, good. At least they move fast.
It comes across cookie cutter.
Well,
because I've been seeing similar ones that are written in this type of fashion. You know, the Negro on the job right now, and that's what I'm looking at. Like, how many of these type of letters are written similar in the same manner, the same tone? They didn't authentically touch. This is like a copy and paste thoughts and prayers to me. I'm just gonna keep it a bean with you, man. And I'm offended by that. You can't say that you want brotherhood and promote black on black violence and black on black death for black men. Like, we got to stop the cap with these guys. These guys are no different from gangbangers, and that's where my position is. Just because they got a degree, don't mean that they're not acting in a criminal manner against our people. They ain't doing this to white supremacists. They're not even doing this to the white boy that want to join the freaking frat. Like, let's keep it a stack. This is the reason why I don't join them, because they're cowards. They don't stand on no principle at all. And it's sad that this young man went out like that during Black History Month.
That part. Yeah, we need the Qs and the Newts in the office to have a State of the Union address.
Good
They
evening, Doc.
need to come forth and speak to these killers, these killer machines. That's what they are. Good to see you, Dr. Short.
Okay. I apologize. When you have family, you cannot. Family illness is no joke. It changes everything and problems occur. So I apologize for the incredible tardiness, but it happens that way. I'm so sorry. But again,
Another lynching, Dr. Short.
well, yeah, and I don't have the right heading for my show, so I need to put a different banner on here. Create a banner. Let me see, I'm saying, I'm sorry, stop Boule Lynching. That's what my show is about to all the people listening on my platform. We can stop Boule Lynching by abolishing Black Greek letter organizations, BGLOs. They all need to go, and they owe us reparations for betraying us for over 100 years, and for just the atrocities, the rapes, the corruption, the degeneracy that goes on, that happens at the HBCUs. I think if you guys were paying attention, St. Augustine University in North Carolina is it's lost its accreditation. And so how do universities that have accreditation lose it? It's because you have incompetent people stealing. You have Greek people, they don't just beat people to death. There's a whole infrastructure that led those people at Southern to believe that they could kill that young man. And they kill people all the time. People get drowned, people get human trafficked. All of this stuff happens. And my issue is, how come white fraternities and sororities empower white people as a collective? And Black Greek letter authorities, we get weaker and weaker and weaker as they grow in strength. There's something wrong with those people. I mean that. I mean it. There's something very corrupt and dirty about all the Black. I blame everybody in it. All of you guys are guilty. I don't care. Everybody Greek is responsible for what's happening. The only way you can please me is to get the fuck out. When you quit, you can then talk to me about you can talk to me about Lee, about how how much virtue you have. The Black Greek letter organizations are corrupt. They're corrupt and they're sinister, and they will always be so. And there's nothing that they can do to make themselves virtuous in my book. I don't care about good people in it. There were good people in the People's Temple. There were good people in Nazi Germany. There are good people in the Ku Klux Klan. They're good Republicans. There were good people that owned slaves. There are all kinds of good people, but if they don't do good, if they don't stand on principle, they're useless. And they're complicit. And so if you're a Black Greek, you are just as guilty as the people that beat that boy to death. And those who stay in these Greek letter organizations trying to make something foul righteous, you're part of the problem. I've met those types too. Well, we stayed in to make it better. We knew it was fucked up, so we're going to make it less fucked up for the next group. But what happens when you leave campus And then another group of assholes that want to beat and torture people come along. Okay, you get some people out of foster care, some people who are in juvie hall, who want to rape everybody and want to beat everybody. I want to throw hot fried chicken on people and curse people and punch them out and do all this kind of stuff. And I'm going to just get to the heart of it. The world's in need of love today, says Stevie Wonder's song. So I'm all for brotherly love. Do I love Brother Juan? Yes, I do. Met Brother Juan. He's been cool from the moment I met him at National Harbor. And we've been cool ever since, from the day I met him. Just a straight up person. I mean, sometimes they might do nice things for me, but I just call him sometimes just to talk to a sane black man. It ain't a sex thing. Although they're a nice looking, tall, giant, intimidating person. I like Brother Quentin. There's nothing wrong with fraternalism and brotherhood, especially if it's around the right things. But it fascinates me that we copy all of these secret societies involve degenerate sex rituals. Always. They all do. Even this Doge stuff, everybody's bitching about this Elon Musk and all those little nasty little white boys who are either looking at porn or screwing each other when they get done destroying everybody's jobs. If you think Elon Musk is straight, I don't. You mean a billionaire with that much money hanging out all night, all the time with a bunch of young boys, none of whom who have girlfriends? Do you see what I'm saying? How can the scriptures ask, how can a pure thing come from an impure thing?
Mm.
How can, if I beat and curse you and piss on you and slap you around, can I truly have brotherhood of love for you? Sisterhood, all of that stuff. I've seen it, enough of it. The rapes, the lies, the backstabbing. It's nasty. Someone wrote in my comment, Trump should label all Black Greek letter organizations as terror. We should. These are terrorist, traitor organizations. Yep, if you're in one,
wait for Trump
you're a traitor to God, you're a traitor to Black people, you're a traitor to manhood, womanhood, Black family. I don't care if your grandparents and everybody was in it. It's full of shit. You're full of shit. You're part of the crime. You guys, human trafficking, you name the cause. You name the negative health indices or wealth disparity, you don't see these goddamn Greeks doing anything to address this, and they've got millions of members, they've got the money, they've got the education, and look at how fucked up we are. We get deeper and deeper in the hole. The bigger and the more important these people get, the more fucked up we are. Can't we determine that there's something wicked and dark and ungodly that we should want nothing to do with? So I couldn't care a damn. And I say the same thing. Anybody knows Greek, it ain't shit. Y'all ain't shit. I've almost never, and I know some people, they're pleasant, but when you talk to them, they admit, yeah, there's some bad. So you stay. I feel the same way. Why would you stay with the church with a pastor who's a pedophile? A grifter, tithe collecting liar, nigga. Why are you in the church? You should leave. Oh, well, I feel like the Lord is keeping me there. No, I didn't keep you there. Your ass don't want to go out on your own. You don't want to step out. You don't want to step out and do your own thing. And in reality, having gone to the universities, watched this stuff, seen people, seen folks driven towards alcohol and drugs and sexual confusion and all the kind of debaucheries in order to become a part. When our people have all these problems with lung cancer and STDs, you can go online right now. Anyone that doesn't agree with me, I don't care. Okay. Part of the patriarch revolution is we don't give a damn about how you feel. I dare anyone to look, just Google STDs and HBCUs, and you'll find they've done studies wherever there are HBCUs, there's a higher incidence of sexually transmitted diseases. And I can just assure you, the frats and sororities, I would call them organized sex instead of organized crime. And you see all this confusion, all this degeneracy, all this nastiness year after year after year. And you look at what's his name? Warnock. You start looking at all these people, John Lewis. If you start looking at who the Greeks put up that we should admire, God forbid. You know what? All these no good people, even if they dropped out of school and they were pledging whatever, uh, the reason that you don't get any quality black talk radio is most of them accuse are alphas, not saying shit. I said it just like that. There's some kind of degenerate. Have you ever taken a good look at Tom Joyner, the nigga that looks like a beluga whale with bubble lips? I mean, the dumb shit that he would do on his show. But the main thing, and you know what we're getting by? He talk good about HBCUs. When you say HBCUs, they're not really talking about black people like you and me. They're talking about the Greeks that run those places, those Sebastians of Luciferian, Babylonian organizations that where the people happen to be imitating white people who've oppressed us, and they oppress us too. I will know, and I believe there's hope for Black America. I'm seeing an increasing number of people who are coming out denouncing their membership in the LGBTQ. I'm sorry, not well, same shit. the BGLOs. That stuff is degenerate. It's nasty. It's ungodly. Let me tell you, I met a distant cousin of mine. I won't say what state. And let me tell you, this dude, it's got to be my age, close in their 60s, and you're out still whoring and running with guys and riding motorcycles. And I guess your wife is supposed to be happy because she has a nice big house, but she doesn't have real intimacy with their husband. I mean, if you will find a bunch of these Greek families are totally empty, they're arranged, and they have some agreement where they don't even love each other, but for the name of their fraternity or their sorority, they stay in the marriage. She may be seeing women, he's seeing men, or he's seeing women, and it's all empty. And these people also, you wonder why the black church is such a fucking shitball. The pastors are Greeks or they're Masons. And by the way, the Greeks are all Little League for the Masons. So, yes. And no, you can't be a Christian and be a Greek at the same time. You can't. And so you're a liar, and you're going to spend eternity in hell. You cannot be a Greek and be a Christian. You will be a Christian or you will be a Greek. You can't be both. We need to stop. The big problem with black people is everything's fucking wiggle room. Always looking for a way not to have an absolute. If we're not absolute for what's right and what's good, why should we expect white folks to not be 50-50 or for half and half for slavery, for freedom at the same time? Our involvement with these organizations shows that we're as conflicted and morally debased as the people that oppress us. We want to be better than them, don't be like them. The Greeks copy white people. The Greeks copy the worst in white people. If you ever go to university, people drink and they have orgies and they wear togas. I've gone to schools, it's all nasty. It's filthy. It's degenerate. And they beat some guy to death at FAMU, and it's some Greek type stuff. And this whole thing, how dare anybody bitch and complain to me about white police brutality, about slavery, and we've got folks who brand and beat and rape right now, and we celebrate them. If it's wrong for whites to do it to us, it's wrong for Greeks to do it to us. And the same way I hear black folks say, oh, well, there are no good white people. Well, if there are no good white people because some white people are bad, then can I also say that no Greeks are any fucking good because some of them are no good? Should we do the same thing? I like that standard, by the way. And everybody that knows me knows I always denounce people that are Greek. I always tell them that their shit's rotten and foul and it's full of lies. If you're smart, burn your regalia. Repent to God, have nothing to do with it. I find brotherhood every day just being an authentic, genuine human being. All the gangsters, all the idiots, all the weaklings, all the folks trying to make their parents happy instead of knowing who the hell they are all up in this shit. It's empty, it's degenerate, it's foul, it's nasty. And before we even try to get reparations from white society, we need to get it for Tyre Nichols and all the other people that they've raped, trafficked, abused. And the numbers are in the thousands and thousands. These records are sealed by Greek letter attorneys and judges who cover this stuff up across the country. Why are public schools failing young black people? Because the AKAs and those Delta bitches run public education. They have set us up for genocide. They're worthy of death for what they've done to us. I don't want to be friends to you. Lose my number if you're in that shit. I don't like it. I don't want to get along. I don't have any biblical love for your ass. You don't love God. You don't love your people. What fellowship do we have? Get away from me with that stuff. And that's how we're going to have to be. It's interesting. We talk about black separatism from white. I want to be separated from the Boule. I want to be a separatist from black people that are scum and filth who are pulling us down. They're like lead weights in a swimming pool. We're going to drown trying to carry this shit on our backs. That's how I feel. And let me just say something. You want to know why the Congressional Black Caucus doesn't work? It's full of Greeks, deltas, alphas, and who's that slave queen caveman? Al Green with his Huggy Bear pimp cane. I mean, are you serious?
Superfly, Dr. Short. That's Superfly. Yeah.
No, he's super lie.
Yeah, that sexual harassment charge. He sexually harassed his girlfriend.
No, he didn't. No, she wasn't his girlfriend. He raped a person that refused to be his girlfriend. Let's tell it like it really is. Look, they have him on the hook. The same power game. I bet you Nancy Pelosi's in a secret society, probably the Catholic Daughters of Mary. And she, more than likely Daughters of Mary, and whose family's probably Knights of Columbus, they control the Congressional Black Caucus. Let me just say this to you. You look at Hakeem Jeffries. Dude, he don't even like his coffee black to keep people happy. He can't do a damn thing for us. He's a useless, mulatto-looking Dr. Evil nigga that's never going to be worth a damn. You'll get more out of a white person in Congress than him. I'm so mad. I mean, yep, you can get stuff from a white Republican before you can get it from one of these black Greek Democrats.
Keep cooking, Doc. Keep cooking.
I'm just saying. I mean, to hell with him. I mean, Jamal Bryant, he's Greek. Fannie Willis is Greek. That incredible hawk-looking bitch, Letitia James, is Greek. You keep seeing all these filthy people. Well, that bitch, what's her name? Croc shit. She's got enough lace to be a lingerie factory. She's Greek. Maxine Waters is Greek. Warnock is Greek. And they're dead to us. They're useless. We'd be better off if there wasn't but like maybe 2 or 3 black members of Congress that were standing 10 down on business for us. I couldn't care damn about the rest of them. All of them make me sick. I don't like any of them. You know, we had black leadership when white folk were trying to kill them. All these folks are living in their 80s and 90s. They'll let you know they're not about shit. When you're really doing something for black people, the way reactionary white folks are, a black person handing out candy is a dangerous revolutionary communist. That's how so extreme certain right racists are. If a black member of Congress was truly doing anything to uplift us as a people, their ass would have been hit with a scandal. They would be getting death threats every minute of their life. They'd be getting harassed. That's just how it goes. When you see these big mega churches and somebody has a spray painted nigger or tried to firebomb it, you know they're not shit. Let's just start with the Potter's house. When they spray paint nigger, and they should use big letters because Jake's is morbidly obese anyway, I would know he was about something if they spray painted nigger on his church. The fact that that place is safer than Fort Knox lets me know he's not doing nothing for the rest of us. If Jamal Bryant were really for black people, they'd be all into him for tax and child support. They'd be on him. When you are for black people, you incur the hatred of black people and everybody else. When you're not for black people, folks give you a pass until they get tired of you. So I assure you that the Black Greek letter organizations that are allowed to exist on white campuses, the same ones that won't let you have black studies, that don't have any books about blacks in the library, they don't have any black faculty, but they'll let these Greeks. And I'll just tell you my favorite or my unfavorite story of being a student at UVA. Being in a class, the only black person there, and folks are basically implying that black people are subhuman and inferior. Okay, I mean, I'm talking about in the 90s. And I don't know, I'm not bad defending myself or the group I'm in. I was able to chump off with fighting the teachers and everybody. At the end of all of the debate where I shut people down, the cues began making baboon and monkey sounds out on the yard. And all the white folks said, see what we're talking about? And it was so humiliating. So humiliating. That people like Brother Juan, all of us carry our weight as men, as black people, to try to be an upright folk. And these degenerate people are promoting genocide, abortion. Do you know that all the Greek letter organizations are in line with Margaret Sanger for the abortion genocide of black people? Why not beat this dude in the chest and kill him? Why not? You're killing babies every day. When you saw all these whores out here screaming about killing babies, black women, they're all Greek. How can fucking Black Lives Matter if you want to kill all the babies? The mayor of DC, who doesn't have any money or resources or jobs for black people, she's Greek. Over and over again, and let's just do this. The state of Georgia is an STD nightmare. What is based in the state of Georgia?
CDC.
No, the Black Boule, which was a partner, and I need to remind everyone, the Omega Psi fraternity were the people who ran the Tuskegee experiment. It was black Greeks that waged genocide on low-income blacks in the Black Belt counties of Alabama. The white folk could have never done it without the cooperation and support. And even when the civil rights movement came along and you could give a little bit of back talk to white people, they didn't say a damn thing. It was a white journalist that exposed Tuskegee. No, not even fucking Martin Luther King. Nobody, not Fred Shuttlesworth, nobody, not Mayor Arrington, none of these people exposed what was happening with those black poor folks who were given syphilis. Vernon Jordan, as I want to remind everyone, was married to a woman whose last name is Dibble. Her father was the Q-Dog doctor that ran the Tuskegee Project, and his compensation, it's in the CDC records, he only asked for $1 a year to help kill black people. This is who your talented tent, these blacks you're supposed to look up to. Hate everybody white, as certain black cult groups and conscious community people want to talk about melanin and trash white people, and we're going to praise everyone black is holy. Get the fuck out of here. Whew. It's a lie. Black folks are devious. Black folks are wicked. Black folks are partners in the elimination of black people from the shores of Africa to the halls of the Congressional Black Caucus with that detritus bullshit up in there. And the Greek letter organizations are basically the training fields to create anti-black, pro-gay, pro-illegal, pro-degeneracy, pro-abortion leadership. And that's what the fuck we got. And you can't blame white people. These are all supposedly college educated black people. Black people. Black power. Black power killing babies. Black power. Men blowing out each other's asses. Black power. Women munching on each other's carpet. Black power. Human trafficking. Black power promoting drugs and alcohol. You know, they say the Ku Klux Klan brings the guns in the neighborhood. Well, what do the Greeks bring into the neighborhood? And whatever the Klan is doing, whatever the Nazis, the killer cops, I don't like none of them, they're not doing 1% of the damage that these black Greeks and secret society Negroes have done to us. Okay. And so, I had a Boule hit put on my academic career. I was never supposed to finish school. White Republicans saved me from the black bootleg. God damn. I mean, white people saved me. Can you believe white people? Yes, they did. Imagine that. And the black Greeks were going to cut my throat. And Omega Psi Phi, president of Howard University, swore he would never sign my paperwork to get my doctorate. Oh, nobody knows the trouble I've seen when I got cheated out of jobs, once by a Kappa, once by an Alpha, and then by other Greeks. I think I can teach. I think I was smarter than a lot of people. I got passed up. I had students come and complain. It didn't matter. So if you wonder why people don't learn in the schools, why things aren't getting any better, it's Du Bois who cooperated and was associated with Margaret Sanger. The very same people that said there are too many black people. You'll never hear white people say there are too many white. Never. And frankly, white folks are absolute numerical minority on the planet. They have good sense. When did we have too many blacks in America? In fact, if you ever desegregated a place and you're the only black person like I was, you really appreciate having other black people around. If you've ever been that dynamic where the white people don't even like each other, but they can all agree to hate you because you're black. And you could see white people hate each other, but they could agree, let's fuck with the black guy. They could all agree, let's hate this person. They couldn't even stand each other, but they could all agree, let's hurt him. Okay. I know that. I know that dynamic many times. Just they all get together and plot against you because they can't stand each other. Okay. Why would I want there to be fewer versus more? The Black Greek letter organizations are oriented towards assimilation. Assimilation is cultural and social genocide. And that's why we're dying as a people. Who pushed the jabs in our churches and our schools? The Greeks did. All these people out here dying, I blame Greeks. All of you in those organizations, you are murderers. All of you. I blame every single solitary one of you. If you want me to collectively blame whites today for what white people did 300 years ago, I surely can blame your black asses for people that are dying right now in real time. All of you. All of you did it. And now it's even coming out, you got the Health and Human Services Director, Kennedy. You don't see any of these churches, none of them coming and saying, what's happened to us since 2020? Where's our health standing? Have you noticed you don't hear from the National Medical Association, which is dominated by Jews and Greeks? Because they are complicit in our mass murder and our mass death. I'm learning as I'm fighting, and I think I look okay for stage 4 cancer. I look all right, don't I? I thank God. But I will tell you, why don't these people have Negro Health Month like they used to have 110 years ago. And they had Negro Health Month up until like about 1950. How come they don't do that? How come they don't tell us that the chicken that we're getting in the stores contributes to prostate cancer? Oh, black men have prostate cancer. And then they're giving us the same treatments that do as much good as bad, and not a peep from them. The water isn't safe to drink. It's got lead. I did a test, and I can send it to you. The water isn't safe. My tap water had 191 parts per million of contaminants. Yeah, I need to get a zero water filter in the interim. The water's not safe. Blue cities with black mayors and city council members. We're not even talking about taking on white supremacy or even taking the peak police union. Let's just work on safe drinking water. Let's do something about resuspended lead in the air that contributes to learning problems, birth defects, high blood pressure, and violence, and cardiovascular problems. Let's just stand on health. You won't find one damn thing that these black Greeks as a collective stick to. They do stuff at certain times in the year to promote their organizations, and it's defensive to protect themselves from people like me who expose their crooked black asses. To hand out some school supplies. Fuck. Why not establish some schools where the supplies are already there? You're going to give us school supplies to go to defective schools that you run? That's amazing. Black Greek mayors who gave away public housing to white developers for crumbs. It's illegal to sell public housing property, the public's housing, to private people. A lot of black homelessness is caused by black Greek treason. There was a bank up in Brooklyn. You know the bank I'm talking about, Brother Q. I think I'm forgetting the name of the bank. But black Greek ministers stole all the money. Nobody really went to jail, maybe one or two people, but they stole all the money. You ever wonder? We had a capital city bank in Atlanta run by Greeks. It got shut down by Obama. Obama and them shut down banks all over the country. Black Greeks said nothing as black, little bit of few banks black folk had were being destroyed by the Obama administration. I could just sit there and talk all day long and say, where do these people ever stand up? Only thing stands up are their sex drives.
Hey, Dr. Schultz, I got a message from Steve Harvey for you. Y'all remember he did that?
Let me just say this, Steve Harvey.
That's what he did. Remember he did that.
Allegedly, Steve Harvey is somehow related. I don't find him funny. I watch Family Feud. I just don't, I don't really care that much about black celebrities. And I was late, guys, just to share with you my concern. I'm sorry. Some people, they've been trying to kill Jaguar. They've been swatting Jaguar repeatedly, trying to have her killed. I got an emergency call. It's another reason I'm late. All these trafficked black women are disproportionately trafficked. Where are these damn AKAs, Deltas, Zetas, and the others? Where are they? Where are they? The black kids, black boys, disproportionately are not even adopted. Where are the adoption programs? Let me tell you, this happened. I can't prove it, but I'm fairly certain this is what happened. I used to work for a group as a volunteer called the Coalition of Adoption Programs. And the whole purpose was to create a movement for black children to be adopted and be brought out of foster care. Very fine woman, very fine black woman by the name of Janie McNeil Hayes. Really nice lady. And some of these Boule type people promised that they were going to help her set up a center where people could help provide counseling and work with families in Prince George's County, supposedly the richest Black county in the United States, that they would do something to help foster a new spirit of adoption and concern about children and families. And we worked for months creating a plan, a holistic plan, okay, to rescue at-risk Black children. Among the many things I've tried to do in my life to help somebody else, it wasn't for money, it was for people. And it got destroyed by people who could have just let it happen. They just destroyed it. You know, they promised Janie they're going to give her money and they're going to do this and that. And she's so excited and says, look, I'll even be able to pay you. And I says, great, I'll be able to work with kids, be able to advocate for this. I wasn't even thinking about a whole lot of money, but enough money to live and do good work. And it turned out it was a group or a couple of these Boule type people who were blowing smoke up her ass and ghosted her after we did everything necessary. Identify a building, do this, get professionals, and we'd have wraparound services for these young people. We'd help the parents, and we'd get counseling and get people off drugs and all. And it broke her. I don't talk to her because it's so sad. That person had worked for years, they're going to save children and help put together families. And these people were joking. And if you talk to other people in the community that have done stuff, not-for-profit work in the community, you'll meet these people. They have nice, fancy clothes. They live in big homes. They're stingy. They don't give a fuck. They won't help. You'll get money from a white person 100 times faster than these type of grifter Boule niggas. I'm speaking from experience. So when a Boule nigga threw my family out in the winter 50 years ago, a white Republican conservative got my dad a mansion. I'm only telling you my life. A white conservative Republican saved my family from being homeless. And I had these stories over. So when I'm not making every white American good, but there's some good ones. My ass didn't freeze in 1975 because somebody white cared about Black people. The Black person that made my family homeless was Jesse Jackson. I repeat.
Excuse me, Dr. Short. Pardon me. Pardon me. Go ahead.
The Greek people that made my family homeless were Jesse Jackson and folks who needed a trick pad to screw young women close to Howard. That's the reason. That's the reason you put a family out in the wintertime that was doing community work and help. This is visiting the jails, going to the hospital, feeding hungry people. My God, my experience with these people. If they hung from the trees, I can't say I could shed a tear. Again, my parents doing advocacy, helping people off drugs, doing this. And when it came time and someone decided we're going to violate the law and just throw your ass out, you got to get out. We bought the house. Jesse needed a trick pad. I'm just telling you my life story. White people to the rescue. I'm not saying that there aren't good Black people that didn't help, but at that particular juncture, I'm talking about my parents being out doing stuff for poor Black people by that time, 75. So that would make a good from, say, a solid 11 years of hardcore community organizing and church work from both of my parents. Drug rehab, prisons, all of that, and basically no help for you. And so I know these people are monsters. I know them. I don't want to be a part of them. I can stay in my little dirty basement and read books and talk to you guys. I don't want to go to their parties. I don't like them. I don't want to be in their gated communities. I despise them. And even when they send their kids to the elite schools, they're as fucked up and as stupid as kids from the projects. They are vile people. They are useless. You become a lawyer, but you won't fight anything. In fact, you're more likely to represent people that are killing Black folks than trying to save Black lives. They don't give a damn. And anyone who wants to defend this stuff is compromised. And they're sentimental. And I don't have time for Black boomer sentimentalism. Okay? So, I'm not here to try to make friends. We're going to disagree on this. And Tyre Nichols, and there are lots of these cases. And in reality, if Black folk were serious, and they're not, Black people are not serious. Stop blaming white people for the state that Black people are in. We should be serious. There are people that work at these universities and the legal offices that know about these atrocities committed year in and year out by these organizations that get sued. And by the way, when you join these organizations, one of the things that you have to do is constantly shell out money. They have to constantly shell out money for the legal cases because they're in trouble. Because some people do really stupid, evil things to people. So I could just say to you, if you're on a campus with a lot of Greeks, when Black History Month comes, they dominate it. They have the budgets, they've got the networks, and they make it seem as if they're the ones that represent Black history.
Hey, Dr. Short, can I chime in on that part right there? Because you hitting on something. Because I'm in grad school and I'm dealing with that nonsense right now when it comes to these private institutions.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah. One of the things that I was doing with Black History Month, one of the things that they had was an N-word panel. This was put on by the D9s, the Tethers, and everything else. When I voiced my concerns of it, they didn't want to reach out to other Black organizations that was going to really teach Black history or teach about the Black heritage flag. No. They were designed to denigrate our people. This is what they're doing on campus, family. And then on top of that, they're even having white people be a part of Black History Month where they're getting paid off, but none of the Black folks that are Black American folks that are there on the campus can contribute. But when I see all the other ethnic holidays like Chinese New Year, Ramadan, you name it, they have the respected cultures a part of those holidays.
Well, brother,
this is the frustration that me and Dr. Short is talking about.
They've hijacked the culture. We have to have a regime change in Black America. Say what you want. I don't have to agree with them, but I remember the Tea Party, the group of white folk that were mad. They raised some hell for whatever it was they believed in. Don't have to agree with them. I never see Black folk mad with Black leadership the way I've seen white folks go off on leadership. We're too much into, and it's from the goddamn Black church. Anybody with any position, we just worship, and anyone with any name gets respect and honor, whether it's due or not. They could be infamous like Megan Thee Stallion or Jamal Bryant, but more people give them likes on social media than you or me. Therefore, they have more worth. Our morals as a group are in the toilet. In fact, they're under the toilet, like Haile Selassie. I wish it were in the toilet, because if something's in the toilet, you can reach the bottom bowl and pull it out. We're beneath the bottom of the bowl. And there are a lot of spiritually dead people in our community that are useless and they can't be saved. And these folks are helping to kill us spiritually. I'll point anybody to the book of Numbers with the prophet named Balaam. He was a prophet that was against the people of God, and his mission was to make the people sexually and morally perverse so they would be separated from God. The greatest weapon of the Hebrews was that they had the mighty God fighting for them. The only thing our people have ever had is the ability to call out for God for intervention. These people, not only do they promote degeneracy, they're the same ones pushing all of this bullshit conscious community stuff. So all this Egyptology and all these other things, it's the most wicked, degenerate thing. You make God angry when you have all this sodomy and pedophilia and adultery and all this wicked living. Why would God want to help such a people? There used to be some honor. I remember guys would hang out with ladies that were just their friends. It wasn't even a sex thing. We've become incredibly evil under the leadership of these people. And it's time for us to turn on them. You know what? Donald Trump hasn't been president 2 months. You already see white folk going to meetings, letting folk know how angry they are about change. They don't wait 50 years. They don't let you hold office 50 years and disappoint them. These folk get mad 1 week. We imitate white people in all the wrong things. We never copy them on the things that they get right. Like, if you represent me, damn it, represent me the way I want to be represented. If you don't, I'm coming for you like I never knew you. Say something bad about Donald Trump. Let someone find out you said it 10 years ago, and they'll come after you like you tried to shoot him up in Butler, Pennsylvania. Black people, on the other hand, no loyalty to anyone that would dare raise their voice for them, and don't stand on anything. It's amazing. That dude, again, that Slay Queen, Al Green, one of my late friends alleged that he swings both ways. And maybe he does. Why the hell does a man need a ponytail when they're almost 80 years old? And nobody's hair, his hair is blacker than Africa, and he's in his late 70s. Nigga, please.
Well, Dr. Short, you said perfect segue into the next portion of our show. You said that we need a regime change. I have the Avengers for you, Dr. Short. The Avengers are here. The Avengers are here. Brother Juan J. Johnson, the Avengers are in the building. Hold on, Brother Juan. I got one more for you. Just
this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine,
this little light of mine.
Yo, how on earth did they atheize a Christian song?
Brother Juan,
my God.
Well, the point is that my issue isn't that they how can I say, they made it into an atheistic song, but they can't sing on key. Okay. After 60 years of R&B, I'm sorry. You should be able to clap and sing on time. You've had enough exposure. If you're still clapping on 2 and 4, or whatever beat, if you're clapping on then you've got a problem.
I got another video we're gonna go through. It's pretty long. We'll go through it piece by piece. Brother Juan J. Johnson, you, you got this expression on your face, beloved.
I can't even find words.
What did you feel about the Avengers?
Trash.
Choose your hero. And the thing about the Avengers video, those are people that are in Congress, women in the Democratic Party. The Republicans have responded to that video. They have a video of their own. I'm gonna play a little later, but I have a video. Go ahead, Brother Juan.
They remind me of a group of women who will send your children to war, but they won't go to war. So I can't get with people who I know that you don't have no problem sending our children to war, but you won't. You won't send yourself or your family. I think this is a joke to these folks, man. They can't be serious. If they are serious, they need to be gone.
Oh, and I want to mention, I got a comment from a person, their name is American Lady, and she said, the people that try to advocate for our people are demonized and co-opted by degenerates. And many of us cheer it on. That's what's happening in the reparations space. We're morally bankrupt.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's not just the Boule that's bankrupt. We're bankrupt as a people to put up with their filth. Really, there's just no excuse for this kind of degeneracy to just be unchallenged. It's just when you see Glorilla, when you see Megan Thee Stallion, when you see Lizzo, when you see Diddy and all this other stuff, these people revel in degeneracy and paganism.
Mm-hmm.
And in reality, part of why people did not run north with Harriet Tubman, part of the reason that they could not be convinced that they were slaves, if I could be honest with you people, is because slavery had a way of destroying the morals of people. Yes, it did. And those people therefore got used to having a sex up massa in the field hand, get a little bit of extra cornmeal for watch people get buck rope. A lot of people got used to it. The scriptures tell us, be ye not conformed, but transformed in the renewing of your mind. The Boule says conform to degeneracy, to paganism, to Luciferianism. Okay. The Boule is conforming us to killing babies, to sodomy, to transgenderism, to race suicide. Mm-hmm. It's despicable. And God knows I'm not perfect. I'm not claiming perfection. But I'll tell you something. There's some things I just won't do. I can't do. I don't want anybody to do. And I'm not going to be party to it. And by the way, I don't ascribe any of that. I don't, and not because, but again, let's get back to this. The Greek letter organizations, like the Masonic things, are here and exist to diminish the concept of absolute truth as revealed by Scripture. You see, there are very few religions that say that they're the only absolute one. The Christian Bible, Jesus says, I'm the truth, the way, and the life. It's only me. I'm it. There's nothing else but what's in this book. You'll find in Masonry and the other things, they offer more than one path to live, which by nature makes them Luciferian. And our people who've allowed the satanic groups to influence them, to lead them, to guide them, we've been deceived, we've been bamboozled, we've been tricked, we've been lied to, we've been exploited. You know, I have this book, and I'm probably going to do some reading tonight. I may take an hour or two, because I promise, and I haven't been doing all the reading. Just we had 4 medical appointments last week, and and of course one today. I was late because we had a medical. So it's like and like and 5 business days we had 4 appointments, and this is a non-business day, so we've had 5 appointments. So just constantly. So, but this book here, I recommend everybody get their hands on Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl by Harriet Jacobs. I've known about this book. I never really took the time. I must apologize. I often don't like certain literature about Black people, not because I don't value it, but it makes me angry. I don't want to walk around being mad or angry or feeling hate for anybody. A lot of times I ignore stuff because I don't want to think about it. Because if I think about it, I'm going to get mad. And Black history has a way of really firing you up. And I need to avoid stress. So a lot of times I read certain stuff, but I don't like get too much in it because I get it. I get being at the bottom of the barrel. But this book here is the life of a Black woman who was a slave. And the thing that makes the book so valuable to me, I'm going to start off in chapter 5 when this is over, is if you learn how amid this woman going through all the indignities of being a slave, the thing that kept her was a belief in God. The Greeks and all the liberal Luciferians and all these other people, they are all trying to do one thing to Black people: destroy your connection to God. The story of Samson. If they could just get Samson to give up his secret of what connected him to God's power, then they had him. The secret to Black people's power was the connection to God. It's in our music and everything else. All I have to do is halfway do a Black church song, and there ain't nothing in the world like it. All I have to do is, when I've done the best I can, I want my crown. Lord, I want my crown. When I've done all I can, I want my crown. Right? I can sing that anywhere in the world and people will pause to turn to listen. It's an experience with God amid all of this garbage that we've dealt with. Is something beautiful came out in the form of music, praise, that we still know God amidst getting raped, beat, genocided. We didn't lose our souls. We didn't really start losing our souls until the Greeks took over. The only way that Black people will survive the planned genocide of our people is for us to get rid of the Greeks. The Greeks must go. They must be purged. Black people had a movement in this country. And what happened towards the end of the 60s, they shot and killed and got rid of a lot of the leadership. And they were replaced by the Greeks who went into hiding. And let me just say this to you. The Greeks were not as prominent in the Black community from the 60s until the 80s. They were brought back to bring us down. And they've succeeded. That's why they've been advanced. The Greeks came back with Reagan. With the Greeks, you saw less literacy, less activism. We've been going down. We've been going like a parabola. The higher up the Greeks go, the lower Black people have gone as a collective. It's obvious that we need to jettison them. It's like a ship that needs to throw some excess baggage overboard to stabilize itself. The Greeks and the other people, they must be thrown out. And I don't care. It's not about being friends. And for folks who are sentimental, I don't care. Our people used to be closer to God. We didn't have a choice. You can't call the police. You can't go to the bank for a loan. You can't do, all you can do is talk to God. Now we can call the police and the other stuff, but we don't talk to God anymore. It's insane. Why would you throw the baby out with the bathwater? Of course we want Jim Crow gone. Of course, we want discrimination gone, but do we throw the God away that helped us to survive it? Why does that have to be? And the only people, by the way, if you really get into it and you start learning about the slave masters, read these books, the slave masters hated their Christian slaves the most. It's a Christian slave that won't have sex with me. It's the Christian slave that won't do certain things. I'm white, I own you, I say. And the slave says, God, that says, white dude, your power is limited. Something's greater than you. That's the slave get whipped. Nobody tells me I can't do to you what I want. This same spirit within white supremacy and Boule supremacy that denies that there's God's law that is higher than man's law. That's what's got us jammed. And they brought this garbage to destroy us. And that's why I like the Bible. The story of the Hebrew boys, or should I say the little Negro boys integrated into the Babylonian school. And they were going to turn them out, make them into freaks, eat the food, get high. And they refused. They refused to disintegrate into Babylonian life, and they ended up becoming powerful. We as a people have chosen the way of Cain, and we've been lied to. Most Black people did not want to lose their schools. It was the Boule within the NAACP and other people that told us, get rid of Black principals and get rid of Black teachers and get rid of anything Black people had, and let's just use what white people have. And I'm thinking, no one would go in and tell the Chinese in Chinatown to shutter all their businesses. Only our Boule traders have done this. You can't blame white people. Even if they're part of the problem, they're not the greater part of the problem. So when I say to you, the greatest opposition I've encountered in my life has come from Boule type people, even within one's own family.
Here's the Dr. Short. Here's a young Jasmine Crockett.
Crock shit.
No one could have told me that when I went down to Austin, now looks like a little bit over a year ago, that I would be running for Congress. It's just not what my plan was. But what I've always decided is that I would step up when there was a need. Listen, he up there, he's hearing all kinds of nonsense and bullshit. Let me just be real. And we weren't gonna sit for that shit. We wouldn't, But when she called me and said, I think it's time for me to retire, and you're the one that I believe should take my seat, I really was kind of caught off guard. I didn't anticipate that. If anyone knows anything about the Congresswoman, they know. We showed up, and if he had some sense, then maybe we would have been about that life. But y'all know he ain't got no sense. So please give some love. This took a little bit of coordinating to do, for sure. We got some cool shirts. The congressional seat is
totally different person, Brother Juan.
as large as
no, she's the same person. She's a Delta. The person that preceded her was a Delta. And they're a bunch of very strange people. And so I don't want these people. Let me tell you something. I worked with a Delta that was a good person. I'll keep saying, see Dolores Tucker. That's the last great Delta, the only great Delta woman I know. They were fighting degeneracy. And when it came time for the people to destroy her, she was left hung out to dry. She thought that people had her back. She was destroyed, not just by the record industry, but by the Boule. I think about the fact she died at the age of 67. And I'm 60. And Miss Tucker was a good person fighting all this garbage. She thought that they were with her. When you step up as a Black person, you have no idea that these people will take out their knives and stab you in the back like like Brutus on crack.
Doc, that's a good point, because if you think about it, Adam Clayton Powell, he was an alpha.
Mm.
And he did more for black folks than the Boule.
Yeah, but understand, part of how they got Adam Clayton Powell was all the whoring and drinking and stuff he did.
Right.
And I'm not trying to pull penises out of vaginas here, but if you're taking on the system, if you're breaking all the rules, running with white women, running with secretaries, taking checks and all this other kind of stuff, you open yourself up when you start saying, I can do the same thing as people who are in a superior caste to me, which is what happens over and over and over and over and over and over and over again to stupid, dumb fuck black politicians. I can steal and graft like the white guys do. No, you're not white. And we shouldn't want to. The Bible says, envy not the oppressor nor follow any of his ways. And the Boule says, the oppressor's got it going on. Me like, I'm going to do the same stuff. It's despicable.
Brother Negro.
Yep, right here.
And crock shit, I think I sent y'all, I want to say this to everyone listening. If you can get a criminal background check program, if this is the same Jasmine Felicia Crockett, this woman is scandalous. She's basically just Diddy with a weave and a vagina, I think.
Hey, guys, I've been hearing that she's a tether on the low. And I've been hearing that from multiple sources that she's not even.
I
And
can't
she's.
help you. I know her family is from St. Louis. That's what we do know. And how long in St. Louis, I don't know. I know her father's allegedly a pastor, and she could be. But here's the thing, and this is again the crime of the Boule. If they were truly the black elite, if she's truly black elite, they would be able to let us know who's us and who's not. This person on my thing says she's 100% ADOS. I know that, as far as I know, her family is from America. But again, I don't share the same obsessive thing that you do, Brother Negro, because the Greek letter organizations are completely open to people from other places, and they help facilitate the invasion and the incursions into our community, because the Boule organizations are globalist. They're not black for black Americans as a separate entity. They say that, but they're not. And it's just time for us to stop playing this game.
Hey, Dr. Short, I got a question in for the other panel. Do you think that because of these Title IXs and these school policies, see, I don't see them forcing the white frats per se to open up their doors to all ethnic groups and all this other nonsense. But when it comes to the black frats, I've seen the school administration, the system itself actually force specifically like black student unions, the black Greek organizations, they forced them to almost underneath the guise of Title IX to make them accept other students just because they might look black.
Black people are stupid. Why take government money? And they don't do it to Jews or other people, but no one sues that way. Where are all the black lawyers? All these niggas running around in $2,000 suits, but you can't get them to do any pro bono work. I'm really disgusted by black professional people. They're scum. You get all this education, you boast about all your expertise, and you don't do anything. Let me tell you something about white folk white folk volunteer and show up for stuff if it's their community. Black people, they got a nice house, 2-car garage. It's hard to get their attention. We have a situation where we're very nuclear. With for we four and no more. My wife and 2 kids and fuck everyone else. That is the model of many black people, so many. And the Boule promotes that. Just take care of you. These organizations should fight. And if they can't get campus recognition, then organize or actually be a secret society. And don't demand to meet on campus, find some place to get together. You know, with all due respect, black people don't really try to stand up or fight for anything. They never do. Halfway say something they did because they're slaves. But let's just be honest. Most black people are slave minded and are comfortable with such. In fact, they told being slave minded is a path to success. They could say, hell no. Black folks had guns and bandoleros full of bullets to get black studies in the 60s and 70s. You mean people used to have guns and force it? And now you can't just say, no, we're not going to do it. See, I prefer the old racism where people told you how they felt about you. Maybe they spit on you, whatever. You know where you stood. Now, because you get to go to lunch in the president's club, whatever, you feel like you belong. Well, maybe we could do something. So, in reality, the impulse for assimilation and race suicide is the norm for black people. Mr. Negro. People don't want to be who they are. And again, you want to know who you are? I go to National Archives. It's so rare to see another black person there. It's full of white people tracing their black families were destroyed. We've been destroyed by our family the last 60 years. We destroy our family in the family court and we are lying about fraternity. If we're serious about this stuff, if people could do this 150 years ago, God damn it, don't tell me we can't do it now. It's a choice not to do it now. And people lie, they talk this stuff, it's not possible. When I was talking to my aunt today about the royal governor of Maryland being her grandfather, my aunt knows me, I put my aunt down. My aunt did not know her second great grandfather's name, but they never called to ask. Right? I'm a call away. I'm not saying I don't love anybody, I'm just saying, you ain't call. You could have asked. Do you follow? Just settle with, well, I never knew that or I didn't know much, but we're not aggressive. We're not serious about being what we are. We're not. And if you talk to anyone that does genealogy and find out how much opposition they get from family, of just trying to get basic things like names. Well, have you ever talked to someone about where they're from? Well, somewhere in Georgia. That's an answer.
Somewhere south.
Oh yeah, down south. I mean, you guys never sat down and talked about how you got to New York or Chicago, or who your grandfather, grandmother, what's their actual name. The most disgusting thing for me is to go to a black funeral and find out I never knew the name of the person that I knew that was there. I'd never heard their name. I mean, like, wow. Like you don't know anything about them. We like things murky and dirty, just like the slave master. Slave master didn't want to own paternity of the kids, so he could sell and do what he wanted. And we do the same damn thing now. If we wanted it, because black people talk it, but we don't mean it. We don't mean it. That's the fundamental thing I've learned about black Americans. We don't mean it. We're jokers.
Mm.
90% of black folks are jokers. If I tell you I'm interested in books and black history, you can come along and say books everywhere. If I go someplace, another city, I'm likely to go to a museum or to a bookstore, to a library, go to something cultural. May not go to all the elite stuff. When I was in London, I didn't go to Tower of London, but there's some bomb-ass bookstores with black books in London I've never seen in America. Not that I didn't want to go to the Tower of London, Crown Jewels, just if you say you're really interested in knowing, I went to the British Library. I went to British Library, went to the British place with all the literature. I went to the National Archives in Great Britain to try to learn things. You know, if you're in Belgium, you go to the African Museum. If you're serious, your life is about pursuing certain things and sticking with it. It isn't so much. I started doing genealogy when I was 10, or about 10. So 50 years later, I know some things. So, you know, it's really crystallized the last couple of years, but it takes a long time, and you have to stick with it. Black people have been, what we do, we covet what white people have. We look at what white people got from hundreds of years of free labor and everything else, free land, stolen, genocide, and expect the things to work for us exactly like it works for white people. All the while knowing shit doesn't apply to us the same. We're not working with the same things. I'm not saying that things can't be similar, but a lot of black families are not going to have certain sorts of money or wealth. Not that they can't or get it, but to expect. And I'm not saying that you expect a black doctor to be less proficient than a white doctor, but black folks used to have. I always said, you know, 100 years ago, black people had a minimum of 120 hospitals. Did you know that we only have one hospital now? Howard University Hospital is basically controlled by Adventists, white Adventists. Even Howard Hospital, sold out by a Caribbean tethered president, Howard University. Just saying. How do you have 120 in 1920, around the time they did Black Wall Street and they're killing black folks and lynching people? Black folks had hospitals then. And then today, we've got $2 trillion and we only have one. It takes work to degenerate like that. Those black hospitals may have been small, may have not had as many beds, but they were there. Now we don't have it. A lot of instances, we don't have clinics. How do we not have any of this now? How is that possible? We've got thousands of black people, in fact, millions of black people with advanced degrees. And yet, about half of the black men in this country can't read. Black illiterate men, 50 some odd years ago, was only like 30% of black men. Almost the number of black men that can't read has doubled since schools have been interracial and all this. What is going? How do things? It's something, and I'm telling you, it's this goddamn Boule and these traitor black preachers and other people that really they don't mean it. It's a joke. It's a joke. Who's this idiot on here? No, you can't go to any hospital today. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. If you don't have certain insurance, if you have Obamacare, certain hospitals won't take you, won't help you. I mean, hold on. I don't like dumbness. I don't like dumbness.
Brother Juan.
I don't like dumbness. Don't give me an opinion.
Your mic is
And
muted, Juan.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dr. Short been cooking for so long, man. You
no,
know,
I'm just saying. And someone put up a comment. This guy
no.
said it's integration. No, integration means the coming together of equals, and Black people have to stop using terms that they don't know what it means. Just because you hear it on the news doesn't mean that it's what it actually means. There's no such thing as transgenderism. If I hacked my dick off today, it wouldn't make me a woman. It would make me a dude that mutilated their dick. Integration means the coming together of equals. That is not what we ever had. They did not say you could wear your hair in cornrows or any style you want. No, your hair needs to look in a way that white people say your hair looks when you come to work. Or we get angry. White guy can have a ponytail, you better not have dreads. That's not integration. Assimilation is not integration. Assimilation is destruction. Assimilation is the woman has to heat treat her hair and make it style like a white woman, but if she wears her hair natural, they say she's unprofessional. Doesn't matter if she has 2 PhDs and been in the job 20 years, she wear afro, they want to fire her. But a sister comes in with a lace weave from an Asian store, she looks professional, even if she acts like Jasmine Crockett. That's not integration. And we need to stop using that. White people have not integrated with Black people. Black people have integrated with the degeneracy of the American culture, but not with white. We've tried to we're smoking dope, we're doing everything that we saw white folk do. They have never integrated with us, nor do they care to. And that's not to be expected. I'm not mad if they don't. We have not integrated with ourselves. We still have classism and colorism and Bouleism and all this other stuff. We don't know what integration means. Integration means coming together of equals. In Canada, they have French and English because the French-speaking Canadians are integrated. You wouldn't dare not know how to speak French and run for office in Canada. You can't make it. You better know some French. In America, I meet white people or run across them online. They don't know a damn thing about Black people with 60, 70 million people. That's not integration. That's assimilation. When you turn on TV, you don't, Black History Month, I mean, you'll get a little, in Canada, if you want to be head of the government in Canada, you have to have a program to appeal to French-speaking Canadians because they're a significant minority group. America does not have a representative republic. America has a majoritarian republic where the majority of people fuck over the minority group of people. That's not integration. It is not integration if someone thinks I'm too dark to have a particular job, or I didn't come from a certain family lineage. My family is not from New England, so therefore I can't be considered. That's not integration. Assimilation and integration are two polar opposites. In fact, another term for assimilation is ethnocide. That means the destruction of a people. And that is what's been going on for the last 60 years, is the destruction of us as a people. And this has been facilitated by people who've been promoting assimilation, which is in the Boule. Same people that said in order for a Black kid to learn in school, he has to be sitting next to or near white students with a white teacher, or else they're stupid. Black kids were learning better when they were in segregated schools with dedicated Black teachers and principals. I don't want segregated schools. I don't think people should have textbooks that are 100 years old and other people have brand new, and that people don't spend the same amount of money on kids throughout the school system. Of course, I'm against that. But you mean unless I have a white teacher, I can't learn? The school to prison pipeline is proof that white teachers set black students up, in particular black males, for failure, for criminality. And yet they talk about the school to prison pipeline, but that was engineered by the Boule. They did this. I blame them. And the same way, you blame the CEO for the failure of a company. If the Boule represents the leadership of black people, then everything fucked up with black people is the Boule's fault. That's how I see it. And if you're a part of it, you're an accessory to it. Every person that ever pledged, you're all guilty. Every single solitary one of you. All of you. You guys we need a truth and reconciliation thing for people to burn their regalia and quit and repent for their crimes against black Americans as well. All the people in the Boule, in fact, they are disproportionate among the top percentage of black people who are getting 90% of the wealth that's concentrated in the top 10, 15% of black Americans, need to pay reparations to the rest of us for how they betrayed us, how they've gotten all the equity out of the civil rights and other movements and have not shared the resources with us. And they're the same ones that are instigating a race war by attacking Donald Trump and doing all this other bullshit, acting like they represent us. And yet they haven't tried to get deals for us to have jobs, opportunities, access to health care, and the like. It's real simple. This is deliberate. This is a rigged fight. This is being done to us by people that we've been told are leadership and their enemies.
Hey, Dr. Short, can I share something? Yeah,
It should be a free country. Let me say it like that.
Dr. Short, you sent me a clip about the Boule, right? And I watched it. It was one thing that kind of stuck out to me that I wasn't aware of. I didn't know that they tethered on Ethiopian culture and customs and beliefs in those frats and sororities, or depending on which ones. And they're actually tethering on other people's cultures while rejecting the Negro Black American culture that's here. One could strongly argue that they're the original.
If you know anything about Ethiopians and their culture, I have never seen any Greek stuff that mirrored the Ethiopians that I know, because Ethiopian culture, at least until contemporary times, was dominated by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Ethiopians strong about family, business. They're very proud of who and what they are. I don't see that. So the person that said that, I saw that too. You know, that guy, what he was really trying to say, and he didn't do, he should have said that these people are endocamitic. And see, even that's shady. They don't know comprehensively what the religion of the ancient Egyptians were. They just found a new tomb within the last couple of days. A lot of ancient history is speculation. If you follow ancient history, they just found down in Iraq, thousands and thousands of kilometers of canals from a city that was 5,000 years old that nobody talked about. A historical memory or cultural memory of a people is 20 years at best, and you can lose everything in 20 years. So when you talk about Nineveh, the prophet Jonah went to, or the Assyrian Empire, that place was lost for years. When it got destroyed, nobody knew where it was exactly. People had to go looking for it. The city of Troy, someone had to go looking for it. It was a memory. People didn't even know where it was. There's nobody alive. They keep finding new cities in Guatemala and in Mexico that the Mayans and other people, they didn't even know. Nobody's alive to even remember these places exist. There is a place in Turkey, I'm not going to pronounce it right. It's one of the oldest cities in the world. It's like about 10,000 years old. And there's stuff under it, meaning ancient history at best is speculative. And you have to remember the same people who were supposedly the experts on ancient history are the same folks that told you the Egyptians are white and nobody black ever did anything. These are the same people that believe in evolution. So you have a very compromised group of exceedingly dishonest people who have a cultural bias against everybody but themselves. And they're interpreting history like they don't know who built Cahokia in Illinois. Okay. They don't know there are pyramids all over America. Well, we don't know who built them. Or the Great Zimbabwe in Africa. Well, Phoenicians. Maybe people from another planet. Surely nobody black could build it. How the fuck do you know you weren't there? But I'm white and I said so. And I'm telling you, that kind of mindset is going to get the shit kicked out of it. Like, I'm not trying to say, but they're talking about this Golden Dome. Okay. I don't want America bombed. I live in DC. I certainly don't want America bombed. But the answer is, if you're using the technology that Israel has to protect you from missiles, and hypersonic missiles blew the shit out of Israel, although it wasn't reported in the news here like it could have been. Whatever they're talking about putting up to defend America, even though it messes over other countries, by the time they spend all this money for this shield or whatever they're going to put on America, it probably won't be worth the salt that we paid and tax money. They may have, if they've got hypersonic missiles now, what are they going to have when this Golden Dome is put together, which is based on what's in existence now as a missile? What's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years in missile development, right? Which may mean that the Golden Dome won't even be able to stop the new changes in missiles. I didn't say don't protect us from missiles being fired at us, but wouldn't it be better to not fuck with everybody on a planetary basis, white American leadership, just pick fights with everybody, steal and mess over and make enemies out of everyone till people can't stand you where they want to blow you up and they get tired of you threatening them with sanctions and nukes? You get what I'm trying to say? I mean, so these same people do the history, and these same people said the Japanese eyes were too small for them to be able to fly planes. And Pearl Harbor says that's not so. Right? And the same thing said, oh, the Chinese couldn't possibly move that many soldiers. And in Korea, that's not so. And in Vietnam, they can't possibly rebuild the Ho Chi Minh Trail after we bombed it. It wasn't so. All of this stuff is, well, because I hate you and because I can kick Black Americans in the ass and they can't fight us back. So our worldview is based on our ability to bully Puerto Ricans and Aleutians and Hawaiians and other people. We project, how we do history and everything is based on how much I hate people I can mess over who can't fight and defend themselves. I mean, it's great logic, I guess. If you hate people, it makes sense. But you know what? The Germans said the Russians can't organize a counteroffensive. And then Stalingrad, the biggest battle of World War II, didn't the Germans get their asses handed to them, the Sixth Army? Didn't they? Right? You're dealing with the arrogance of this European so-called exploration expansion, where everything's based on we're the baddest, like this dude that's with Elon Musk called Big Balls, and we're so smart and we know everything. And they've been firing essential people, like firing people that are monitoring our news. And I get it. We're so white and smart. We just know, just rip them and slash them. We don't even care what your institutional knowledge is, what your profession. I'm white and I said so. This cocky shit has a bad ending for every empire. Every empire, when people are so, like the Romans, the barbarians, they wouldn't dare attack us. They wouldn't have dared attack Rome. Man, they sacked that bitch time and time again. They couldn't possibly. Oh, the Mohammedans, they don't have cannons. They took Constantinople in 1452. This thing about I'm better than you, it's not a smart way to deal with people. There's something about this God that most people say doesn't exist in America, and that is God didn't make stupid life. Life is intelligent. Flowers, plants, animals, people. And whenever you have a system that says certain people have smaller brains than we have, and we're smarter than everyone else, and no one can equal us, and nobody can do what we do, and we're so this and we're so that, and the Russians can't get the space, and then you get Sputnik, and you say the Chinese are stupid, and then they have nukes, and the Indians have nukes, and the Pakistanis have nukes, and eventually the Iranians, if they don't already have nukes. Stop pretending that people are dumb. They may be different, they may not have as much money, but God did not make people stupid. We're just one group just has all the intelligence. So I'm white, and 199% of all the intelligence is in my skull. And if you don't have light colored skin, your skull has no intelligence inside of it. That's stupid. Oh, and you know what we'll do to make certain that what all the intelligence is in white skulls? We're going to go back through history and we're going to make the Egyptians, we're going to make Shaka Zulu white, right? We're going to make not cultured Nigeria white. We're going to make people in Congo white. We're going to make the Chinese white. There's this thing called the Hamitic hypothesis where all civilization of people who are dark skinned, especially in Africa, comes from a group of white people called the Hamites. So if you don't have any white connection, you're dumb. You're just stupid as hell. You can't get civilized. You just can't get it together because you're not white. It's not. It doesn't make any sense. But Elon Musk and other people think like this, and these people simply haven't had their asses handed to them like it could get handed and will be handed to them. Okay. The people said they're going to clean up Gaza in just a couple of days, remember? This thing is dragged and dragged. I don't want anyone fighting anywhere. They killed, what, tens, hundreds of thousands of people, and the folks haven't given up. Israel is so this will be done in 6 months. Well, it's more than 6 months later. Have they won? It's the same thing. We're superior. These Arabs are dirty. They're no good. We do what we want to them. They're nothing. This is our land. Whenever you approach that, you always get embarrassed. Always. The Russians said the Japanese, they're stupid. They're inferior to us. Let us sail our Baltic fleet over to Asia. And the Japanese were waiting and they sunk the entire Russian fleet at the Straits of Tsushima and the Russo-Japanese War. I don't know how many black eyes white countries have to get before they recognize, you know what? Everybody's got a little bit of sense. Everybody's got some sense. You got to break with the gunpowder technology that you integrated from other people, and you guys got to leap ahead. For a period of time, everybody was behind you and had to play catch up, but they're catching up now. The Chinese have digital chips and all that is superior to what we've got. I'm not pushing for China, but they got 1 billion people. Maybe some of them are smart. Some black people are smart. And proof of that is stealing people's patents and stealing their music and all while saying they're subhuman, they're dumb, and they're taking everything they make. On one hand, if I was inferior, why do you want what's mine? You should just let it go. So there's a great hypocrisy in these people. So these same people write the history books. The same people, well, as I said, do genealogy, and and you learn. Wow. Uh, Again, I tell people my family was thinking, okay, we're regular black people, cool. Um, Imagine finding out that you come from. I mean, I knew about African royalty in the family. They got European too, and it's a fact, and it ain't just me. And that there were tens of thousands and not hundreds of thousands of people that look like us that was sent from England to the Caribbean and the Americas. And so our whole story about the establishment of the United States and the British Caribbean, but in particular the United States as a white society, is a lie. Like I was trying to figure out how do we get so black if the people in my family are all from England and Ireland and they're so white. How do we get so dark so fast? But then again, if they weren't white people that came over here from Europe, it makes a hell of a lot more sense why I'm not pale skinned like my great grandfather. Because the people came over here already melanated and mixed. And the minute they hook up with someone like Juan, they do a complete throwback and everybody's go back to the original color that they were. I was trying to figure this out. I'm trying to figure out how did the family get so black so fast? If everybody was pure white, I mean, I accept that that's what it is, but it isn't. There's no such thing as a pure race, and there's no such thing as anybody that's always smarter than everybody else. There is a fair distribution of intelligence, knowledge, and ability spread across humanity.
Right.
Okay. And so there's intelligent life because that's what God did. Who came up with the idea of stupid life? It's the same racist ass people. Charles Darwin and evolution and all this other garbage. What was it doing? Charles Darwin wrote these books about the same time that they started dealing with black slave revolts. How do we justify stealing these people's shit, beating their asses, and doing all this stuff, inasmuch as just a handful of people like Frederick Douglass, Phyllis Wheatley, Equiano Udola, and others, or Harriet Jacobs, were able, just a handful of blacks get education, were able to prove that this lie that black people were inferior based on the Bible shot that shit in the head. So they had to go from the Bible to white pseudoscience. And we've been kind of stuck there with, what's this guy? Herrnstein and Mary's Bell Curve book. So let's understand, nothing's true about it. Nothing's true. Nothing's factual. And in reality, as I keep saying to people, the population of people that identify in this as this white thing is diminishing, not because anyone's fighting people. It's probably because people have so much hate in their heart that they're not procreating. They're too busy having guns, planning to exterminate people, hurt people, fight people at the gun range, mad that other people exist in other countries that aren't bothering you. Instead of loving your woman or loving your man, or you're creating stuff like feminism and eugenics and so forth to jam up everything. And ultimately, the Bible says you dig a ditch for someone else and you fall into it. You dig this ditch of hatred and destruction, and then it happens to you. Let that be a lesson to the Boule. You dug a ditch for the black masses to be destroyed, and it is you that will be destroyed. Let me land my plane for a second.
Oh, well, that concludes another great Pat Talk broadcast, episode 60. Dr. Short came in, cooked, gave us the main course and the dessert. Brother Negro.
Yes,
Brother
sir.
Negro.
Yes, sir.
You have some things that you'd Final thoughts, sir?
Fun thoughts about the Boule. They need to be disbanded, just like a lot of the entities that's been against us from its inception. They're rooted in evil. So think of it as the poisonous fruit from the poison tree type of doctrine type of thing going on. The more I look back, and I'm glad that I have my own organization, the Negro Black Knights Heritage Club. I'm glad that we infuse the word of God. I think that's very important, very vital. And the more and more, I'm very appreciative that this organization does exist and that it's present, because there needs to be an alternative to what's out there. You can't, as a society, we can't just complain about what we don't like, but we also have to build the possible alternatives, what we are doing, so that people can come to these newer institutions that are in our interest, that's in our image, and also in the image of our creator, because he created us. And one thing I have learned is that nonprofit organizations such as the Boule and all those frats and sorority, they're rooted. They draw upon the inspiration of Satanism or being evil, and that's one thing that I've learned. So anybody that's talking about these organizations, all of them have an origin point, and they all are inspired by something. It's up for you as a person that wants to be a part of these organizations to find out the truth before you join. We got to take personal responsibility as a community when it comes to these frats and sororities. Salute to y'all, brothers. 2025, end Boule Lynching. That's the motto. End Boule Lynching.
Yes.
Salute to you as always, Dr. Short. Brother Juan, thank you, brother. And Q, you already know what it is, and thank you for your support and your platform and keeping up with Pat Talks.
Mm-hmm. Brother Juan.
Let me first just give a shout out to Chef C in the passing of his father. He had a service on this week. So I want to just salute the chef. He's out here trying to do his business, do his talk shows, broadcast, but he's also grieving. So just want to let him know that I'm in his prayers and his family, again, lost a father that raised him. Second thing, I just want to shout out to, again, to the family and friends of Caleb Wilson, whose name should be mentioned every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day.
Caleb Wilson.
Caleb Wilson. Where are the Qs? Where are the frats? Where's the conversation about the hazing? Why aren't we discussing the killing of Black men and women in these organizations? So again, just want to shout him out and his family, praying for them and all those who are victims of these fraternity, sorority killings, lynchings. Number three, I want to shout out to Dr. Short for being a John the Baptist, a Nehemiah, a Elijah type, who's crying out and setting things in order, leaving a reservoir of information that will be listened to in posterity. They may not listen to you right now, but they'll listen to you later. Because somebody somewhere will be saying, well, where were the voices who were standing in the gap? Where were the voices who were the dissenters? And they're going to come up, they're going to pull up Dr. Short's videos and realize there was a voice out here who was crying loud and sparing not. Okay? Also, to you, Brother Q, for holding things down for this Pat Talk.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you. People don't realize this. We may not interrupt our conversations and say like, share, subscribe, and donate. But you're not getting this type of information. And there's so many platforms out there you're going to. But you got some solid, well thought out, educated brothers. And every now and then we throw in a sister too, who are giving you what you need. A different perspective. So again, I salute Brother Q, and I need y'all to hit his cash app. Somebody needs to support the program tonight. You listen to Dr. Short, you know Dr. Short is not nobody. Numerous movies, numerous documentaries, and you know what he come with the real. Okay. As for me, all I say is this: I need you to be consider being responsible gun owners, gun users. We are not out of danger. My passion is to make sure I can train you how to defend yourselves, defend your families, your friends, your neighborhood, your county, your state, and maybe the nation. Need you to be aware of these stadiums, these movie theaters, anywhere there's a lot of people. Just be mindful. I don't want you to be no soft target. And again, thank you all for tuning in and taking part in the discussion. There's no small things, nothing small about you taking part in this discussion. I appreciate you, and I want the best for you and your families. But don't forget to like the program, to share, to subscribe to each of our channels, and don't be afraid to make a donation, a donation. Okay.
Oh, wow.
A donation. Do something. Yeah. I turn it back over to you, Brother Q, and also Brother Negro. They had a good time in the church this morning. I was participating in Brother Negro's church this morning, so Zoom calls.
Dr. Short, you got any final thoughts?
Well,
Thank you for attending.
I want to ask everyone, pardon my tardiness. As I said, my mother and I are working very hard to fight advanced stage cancer. I want to thank everybody that's helped out through our GoFundMe. Like today, it cost me $500 out of pocket. I wouldn't have had that without people helping me. So if I'm not buying books, I'm paying for stuff to stay alive. Stay alive, stay alive. I thank everybody for it, because I've had to put out some money when insurance doesn't cover naturopathic treatments. And my mother adamantly does not want to do chemo again, and like on a pain of death. So I'm working very hard to try to figure out how we can find. So now we've got 2 naturopathic doctors we're consulting with, and I believe that we're going to figure out what to do. So I thank everyone and the Angry Black Men's Book Club and Salt Ministry for helping. And I mean that. It was like, it's an order. Our medical system, part of the problem is it's rigged against certain folks. I think I showed you the book by the guy who's talking about in order to get rid of Black people, make the medical system no good. I had that book, and there's a reason I just went to pick up other books, and because I want to do some reading. But I thank all of you for your help. Paying $500 bill would hurt typically. It didn't hurt that much because people were so kind to my mother and I. And I thank you. The only real asset I have other than God is I have a living mother at my age of 60. And I'd love to see my mother live to be 90. They'll turn 83 this year. I'd love to see my mother make 100. And I do. I look forward to talking to you about health stuff. There's some things that we're doing, people are meeting. And again, I want to say to you, uh, these Boule people are just the worst of the worst. And a lot of the people at the bottom that don't know, it's sort of like being a brown shirt. You don't know Hitler's doing a final solution, but you're part of it. Black folks need to have some morality. You can't just be involved in something because it halfway appeals to you, and yet you don't bother to know what it's about. You say white people don't take you seriously, but yet we don't take ourselves seriously to investigate and find out what things are really about. That's everything. Like I meet really goofy people that go from Christianity to Islam. I don't think they really knew what Christianity was. And then when you ask them something about Islam, they get defensive. My thing is, wait a minute. You just trashed what I think. And yet I asked you a question. When was the Kaaba built and who built it? And you want to fight. I mean, you don't seem like you're in command, right? You asked me, what was God's name before Allah? Since you said there's no such thing as God, there's no such thing as God. And people get all mad. And we jump into things because of emotion. And particularly, say we have a lot of pussy mouth, bitch type black men. It's because you don't have fathers in your lives, whatever. You are very emotional and hormonal. And that's one of the reasons we have Pat Talk. It's not just that we have asshole feminists who happen to have pussy. I don't know how good it is, but they have one. But then you have these weak, emotional black men, a lot of them. And I'm not saying physically weak. They may be very strong, but they're so weak, they need to belong to something like an organization where they have a brand on their buttocks or the prepuce of their penis or on their shoulder and all the stupid stuff. And yes, big bro. And I'm going to just say this. People need love, fellowship, and harmony. I certainly do. However, abuse and neglect, whether it's a man with a woman, or it's a man among men, or boys among boys, or girls among girls, or women among women, conditional acceptance isn't acceptance at all. You don't have anything. You don't have anything if you need someone to beat on, spit on, scream at you. That, in fact, that's what was done in buck breaking. So in reality, the Boule Black Creek-led organizations are nothing but black-run buck breaking and winch breaking organizations. And if you're part of it, you're continuing slavery. You're an enemy to God and a traitor to your people. Now, I want to say to everyone that's here right now, I've got about, what is it? I've got 90 people watching. I am very, very interested in doing some reading. I had not done a couple of other days. I just had stuff. Again, it's a trip when you got a sick family member. It just throws everything off, and you just have to deal with it as it comes up. But if you like, let me let you know if you guys want me to do some reading. I got, and I thank people for being so kind because I had some help with my medical bills. I got this book, and this is a really good chapter. And even though it's Women's History Month, there's a really good chapter in this book. It's called Sexuality and Slavery. Sexuality and Slavery, y'all. And there's some really good chapters in there. I want to get this one. Sexual abuse of black men under American slavery. I would like to read that. In fact, maybe I should read that for a Pat Talk. What you say, bro?
Mm.
But I'm going to read that. This is a new. I got the paperback. The only hardback I could find was $100. Y'all have no idea when these specialty books come out, they're never cheap. I'm trying to get a book called The Negro in Chicago, where they're talking about the fact that black people need to be wiped out. And this was a government-funded study. It's 102 years old. I'm hoping I only have to pay $80 to get the book. But I want to show you an original copy of the books, and I read it. I'm not picking, I'm not hating nobody. I'm reading what some bastard wrote, as part of a study funded by the government. And I thought that would make sense. And of course, I got my Harriet Jacobs book. And I was thinking to just deal with this because part of this Boule thing has a lot to do with sexuality and slavery. And they were her prop, and maybe I read a little bit more. I read the intro to this. And Harriet Jacobs, she was hazed. The first Boule were the white slave masters. Y'all get me? And so if you guys like this, I can take a very short break and grab me a can of rainwater and we can kick this off. Or if you want me to keep this one up, I can do that and just add to it. What are you guys saying? Are y'all in the mood for maybe an hour or so of reading, or are you guys bored? And I could do another one. I could just put another stream up. What are you guys thinking? And by the way, I'm Dr. Randy Short of the Angry Black Men's Book Club. I'm also with Salt Ministry when I'm not using foul language. People hate me even more when I talk about God and holiness. I guess I can't make people happy. If I'm talking street, they get mad. I talk about Jesus, they get mad. And if you want to support anything that I'm doing, my GoFundMe, I don't know. I can send you a link to it, but you can find me. My Cash App is $ Dr. Randy Short. My Venmo is Dr. Randy Short. My Patreon is Dr. Randy Short. DRRANDYSHORT. So it's $DRRANDYSHORT for Cash App. It's DRRANDYSHORT for Patreon. It's DRRANDYSHORT for Venmo. I'm WRandyShort at gmail.com for Zelle and PayPal, which is also my personal email. If you want to write or ask to get book questions, whatever, feel free to write. No booty calls and things like that. I mean, I'll just block it. And of course, I would appreciate anything like subscribe and just push this out. And I hope to do more. I hope I don't keep getting interrupted. Again, I got 2 more medicals to do this week. So actually 3. And then I have to go somewhere if mom goes. So my mom needs someone to escort her. So that's kind of what threw this off. But I'm hoping, as my doctor said, part of my recovery is doing things that I like. I love reading. Health happens. I didn't ask for heart attacks and blood poisoning and all this other kind of stuff, but I'm here. So if you like this, share it. And if you guys want me to read on a little bit, I can do that. And if nothing else, I'm going to read some of, I should read this thing on this men getting raped. Which one should I do? So I want to thank the Pat Talk. I'm going to thank Brother Q and everybody for their patience, for their love. Brother Negro for always helping out. I mean, even when he's a struggling, starving student, he'd be sending me like rat cheese and shit to keep me alive. I thank him. I thank Brother Juan for all the support. Thank Brother Q for all the support. And the Angry Black Men's Book Club is about to progress. So you guys can sign the hell off and we can have some fun. You guys ready to like raise some sand? And don't.
Yo, you guys in the chat, appreciate you guys. All I'm going to say to everyone in the chat is we're here for y'all. We're having a conversation with y'all. We're not talking to y'all. We're talking with you. Though it was only 4 of us tonight, Chef C Kip was here. Chef C was in and out. Unfortunately, the broadcast got a little janky, but we're here. And when we talk about the Boule and their influence on what we call Black culture, Black American culture, speaking about how they gatekeep the culture,
Mm-hmm.
speak about how their ineptability and their want to be attached to whiteness so much is why we haven't progressed.
That part.
And we need to understand for the brothers that's on this panel and everyone in the chat, everyone that's going to probably listen to the rebroadcast, hopefully a lot of us listen to it and understand it, that even though what I'm about to say is coming out of my mouth, my ears is closer to my mouth than anybody's. When someone hates you, treat them like an enemy. When someone hates you, treat them like an enemy. With that, conclude another episode of Pat Talk. Remember, the best way to support our channels, like, share, subscribe. You can donate to us. We all got cash apps. If you need to reach out to any one of us, we all got emails as well. You can find the emails on the top of the channels. With that, you guys have a great week, and we'll see you guys soon. Hopefully, by Thursday, we'll be doing Pat Talk episode 61. With that, you guys take care. Have a great week. Great broadcast, brother.